Hello angels, it's Miss Quiet Queen. Welcome back to my channel. And I wanted to do another video today to talk to you about a new series that I'm starting. Now, the series that I've had up before on being stalked by fairies, that series is over. I'm done with that series, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and judging from your views and your comments that you did, so I appreciate it. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop talking about fairies and elementals and things of that nature, because I still have lots of stories to tell concerning that. But I'm done with the series. Now the series Words of Power and Secret Names, I have about 3 more installments to that series. I wanted to see if I can get more people interested in and get more views on the last one that I put up before I put up another one. And then there's a method to my madness, so just flow with me on this. Now this new series that I'm bringing up now is called Dreams, Nightmares, and Visions. Although there's thin lines between the 3, they each have their own attributes. They're totally different. And as I told you before, if I tell you everything that I've gone through, it might seem so impossible. But I have decided that I am going to put all of these things in my book. Now, I've told you about a book that I'm writing, so I won't be going through all of the dreams and things like that I've had, and all the visions. I won't be talking to you about all of them, not in this series. Just enough to get your feet wet so that you will be interested in getting the book. Now, I've told you guys before that I don't charge to do dream interpretations. I don't charge to give you your guardian angel, your archangel's names. I don't charge you to talk to me. Some of you talk to me on the phone. Some of you message me through YouTube. Some of you email me, and that's fine. But I have to admit, when I finish my book, I will try to sell that book. I mean, what author does not want to see their book on the bestsellers list? So, and I'm sure you guys can understand that. Okay, there's something else I wanted to say. Well, I'm playing my chakra music in the background because it does put me in a very placid mood. But I want to go ahead and tell you about a dream. And I have to hurry up because I'm doing a collaboration with one of my viewers today. His name is Bada Bing. What's up to him? Look forward to that video we got coming up. Oh, and now I remember what I was going to tell you. Some of you brought to my attention some of the things that you dislike about me, which is I always say that I'm going to tell you something and I don't get to it. I apologize. I don't mean to do that. When I have to make myself abundantly clear, so I want to clean that up. When I say that I'm going to tell you something, I don't necessarily mean I'm going to tell you in that video. I just meant that I'm going to talk about that in future videos. Okay? At some other time. Not necessarily in that same video. Sometimes I mean it that in that video and I don't get to it. Sometimes I don't. And I still don't get to it. But I'm sorry about that, y'all. Okay, so this first dream I want to tell you about. Sometimes dreams can connect us with our own reality here in the physical world. Years ago, this is when I was living in Michigan. There is this neighborhood guy that used to walk up and down the street. This is not a dream. This part is true. I'm gonna call him Matthew because I think that was his name. Have you ever seen people who dress hot in hot weather? He would always wear a jacket, thick pants, boots, and he had a hat. Always wore one of those stretchy hats, those knitted hats, and he had a lot of hair and it was really nappy, and it looked like he was growing dreads in some parts of his hair, but he just didn't comb his hair. And he always had a black coat with a hood, and he wore plaid pants, polyester, and he would walk down the street. He had a beard. It was scruffy and unkempt. And he would walk down the street talking to himself, and people would say, oh, don't F with Matthew, because he will jack you up, because he was a really good fighter. People used to pick with him, and then they stopped and just let him be. He would go throughout the neighborhood just walking around, and we would all wonder, why is he burned up? But if there was something really strange about him in a spiritual way. Matthew was, I mean, I used to see an aura around him, and I felt a presence about him. Like, some people look at him and say he ain't right, but I would look at him and say there's something spiritually divine about this young man. And some people that actually had the opportunity of talking to him years prior said that he was psychic, that he's such a genius, he drove himself crazy. They say if you hold too much knowledge, too much information, like all of the information that's in the Akashic records, if you were to induce or consume all of that knowledge, you will go mad. It's information overload. It's too much. And they said that that's what happened to him. So anyway, one day I was dreaming, and in my dream I was dreaming that I was asleep. And I woke up out of this dream. No, in my dream I was waking up, and it was pitch black throughout my entire house. I couldn't even see the pennies on the floor. I used to, when I was younger, my granddaddy used to come in my room and throw pennies on my carpet. And when I wake up every morning, the moonlight, will shine on the pennies. When I go to bed at night, the moonlight would shine on the pennies, and it would just make this beautiful aura. It would just look so pretty with all those pretty shiny pennies on my floor. But in my dream, when I woke up, I didn't see the pennies shining, and it was really odd. It was an odd, thick type of darkness. So I walked down the hall and went through the living room, and it was still dark. It was dark in the kitchen. It was dark everywhere, and I was the only one home at the time. Mind you, I'm still dreaming. In my dream, I woke up, and this is what happened in the dream. So I heard this knocking at the door. So I went to the door and I said, this is really odd. Who would knock like that? So I said, who is it? And he said, it's Jesus Christ. Let me come in. And I thought, now I didn't have a problem with Jesus Christ at the time. I still don't. But I just found it really odd that for some reason, that Jesus Christ would come knocking at my door. So the door flung open after he said that, and it was Matthew, the guy I was telling you about a few minutes ago. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he never said anything. So I shut the door. I don't know why I didn't ask him any questions or anything like that. I felt afraid a little, but intrigued at the same time. So I go back to my bedroom, and I hear a knocking at the side door. So I walk to the side door. I'm like, Lord Jesus, it's not you again, is it? Who is it? It's Jesus Christ. Let me come in. And he was very aggressive. And the door flung open even harder, as if he was agitated. Now this time when I saw him, he didn't have his hood on, but there was a Grand Reaper standing behind him. My left, his right. Over his right shoulder, a few feet back. Just looking, standing there. And the Grand Reaper had his hood on. And this is the second time this is a few times I've had dreams about Grand Reapers. I don't know if I like that idea. But anyway, it never said anything. It never moved towards me, never did anything. And he just looked at me. Matthew did. He just looked at me. And I don't understand to this day why I had that dream. I'm trying to interpret dreams, and I don't do so well interpreting my own. But I woke up, and a few weeks later I saw Matthew in the neighborhood by a park, because he lived by a park. And Matthew never liked for people to come and talk to him. He didn't like friends. You know, they said that they believed, somebody said they believed he was a messenger or a prophet or something, reincarnate or something like that. And he just went mad because of who he really is. He could have been Jesus Christ. I don't know. But I saw him, and I wanted to approach him and to tell him, hey, I had a dream about you, and this is what happened. And so as I was driving up next to him, I was getting closer to him, and you could tell he was using out the corner of his eye, he was looking, and he did like this, as though to say, keep it moving. And people would tell you in a minute, when you see him, don't talk to him, don't try to shake his hand, because he will fight you. He will fight you, and he will hurt you. He was about 5'9", maybe about 180 pounds. He had a big belly, and yeah, he was kind of chubby, and he wore tattered, dirty clothes, and you know, he just was unkept. And as I was pulling up to try to talk to him, I heard a neighbor say, you better keep it moving, girl. You don't know, you better keep it moving. I said, but I gotta tell him, you better keep it moving. Don't F with Matthew. But I just wanted to tell him something, and he looked over at me. He gave me the meanest, evilest look. I wasn't afraid, but I was a little bit nervous. So I don't know. I think maybe he was trying to send me a message. Maybe he was someone very special in a former life. I don't know, but that's one of my dreams that I had. And another thing that I wanted to tell you all about before I end this first part of this series is that when you want to go meet your higher self, you can do that. What I neglected to tell you guys before in other videos is you got to go through some things. You got to go through some steps. You can't just get there. You can't just go to the Akashic records all willy-nilly. You can. I mean, they're open to you. The Akashic keepers are honored of their job, and they would love to talk to you. But you have to be worthy of it. There's a young lady on YouTube who claims that she goes to people's Akashic records, and you guys are giving her hundreds of dollars to do this, and you don't need to do that. I don't believe she's doing it. I don't think that she's actually going to people's Akashic records. The reason why I say that is because you have to meet certain gatekeepers every single time, and some of them can be really, really scary. And I'll tell you a few of them. There's one called the Defender, and he looks like he's metal. He looks like he has on armor, but that's just his body. That's what he looks like. He has a sword. Okay? And if you can't go past him or past whatever test you need to get through him, he'll swing his sword at you. He might hit you in the head, and you wake up, you might have a headache. He might hit you in the throat, you wake up, you have a sore throat. Or he might hit you in the groin, you wake up, you have a low sex drive. I don't know about y'all, but I ain't trying to have none of that happen to me. So then there's another one called the Serpent. And there's another gatekeeper that looks like a child. It's called the Child. And, you know, you just have to go through different levels. Now, there's a brother on YouTube who says in order for you to meet your higher self, in order for you to get to the Akashic, in order for you to get to higher planes, you got to go through the dead names. You got to go through demons, and you have to join the cult. He keeps saying there's no other way. I disagree. There's a lot of things that brother talk about I agree with, and it's a lot he's talking about I don't agree with, but I respect. But then there's some things that I totally disagree with. And what I want to say to him is, because I think he looks at my videos, because I sent him several video responses, and he declined me, and he still is declining me. I guess because I practice the light and he practices dark. He believes in the dark. He is a fan of Aleister Crowley. He reads his teachings. I'm not into that, but I'm not knocking him. But one of the things I want to tell him is that this world has billions of people in it, which means is at least that many ways to find your destination. Everybody don't have to get to the same destination the same way, because we all learn differently. We all have a different mental capacity, you know. So you can't tell me that the only way for me to know my higher self or get to know my higher self, I got to go through demons. And he's saying that demons are stronger than angels. He called them angels. And I just disagree with that. I respect his opinion if that's what he believes, but I want him to stop telling people that you have to join a dark occult or a cult of any kind. I'm not in an occult. I study all types of religion. I still go to church only because I love the vibe. You know, I don't mind reading the Bible. I know that the Bible's been tampered with, but I still go to church. I still read different Bibles. You know, I didn't mean to say different Bibles, different books on different subjects. I don't want to be stifled into believing one type of thing. You know, I want to learn all things. And I've read up on the dark arts and things like that just so that I can know, but it's not for me and it's not for everyone. I'm going to need you know who you are, to stop telling people that, because, and I know you won't, but that's just my opinion, that what you should do is because you can induce panic in people when you say, oh, you got to go through the dead names, you got to go through the dark arts, you have to go through the demons. You don't necessarily have to do that. I've been to the Akashic and I didn't go through any demons. Now sometimes these gatekeepers can be really, really scary, but that's just to deter you. So getting back to the chick that claims that she go into everybody's Akashic records, I'm sorry, I don't believe her. I don't believe her. And y'all, watch what you do. Watch who you give money to. Don't give your money to people so quickly. I offer you this information for free because I love you, because you're my brother, you're my sister, and I don't have to have met you. It's in my heart to do that. I practice love. I practice light. You know, do unto others if you have them do unto you. Don't cross me, because I will defend myself. Some people have made the mistake and took my kindness for weakness. I don't roll like that. But I don't want to take advantage of anyone, and I don't like seeing people being taken advantage of. So this girl that goes through, so-called go through people's Akashic records, she basically has the same answer almost to everybody. You go through so much to get to the Akashic records. So how is it that she's able to do it? And if she can do it, why can't you do it? You can. Okay? There's different chants you can do to make sure that you get on that plane. There is the physical plane, the astral plane, the mental plane, and the spiritual plane. You have to do your chants, you have to do your prayers, you have to do your affirmations, and you can get to that. I'm going to go ahead and close up this first installment, this first part to dreams, visions, and nightmares. And tell me how you like it so far. If you have any ideas or any questions, please leave the comments below. Don't forget to rate and subscribe if you haven't already. Angels, y'all know I love you like play cousins. And please always remember this. If you don't remember anything else I said, stay in the light.